Check it. Wow. Yeah, amazing. Whee. Episode 184 of the A2 show. We've been at it 184 times. We've had a lot of paranormal experts. We've had witches. We've had different kind of magical people who understand magic. And with this one, we really want to try and get more in depth. I'm very, very happy to introduce Patti Negri, our friendly psychic witch. Welcome to the show. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Hi.
Is there can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. I was born this way. I mean, I've been talking to the other side, seeing dead people since I was a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that the so-called imaginary friends little kids have weren't imaginary at all. They were real beings that I could talk to, get real information. I literally did my first seance when I was 7 or 8. So that's on that psychic. I would tell my mom everything in the house next door. I just thought everybody could. On the witchy side of things, I would also find myself in the backyard knowing if I picked rosemary and put it in my mom's purse, it would bring her money. It's just in the blood. So therefore I've studied it my whole life. So yeah, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a witch. I use the term good witch because I love Wizard of Oz, and I don't like white witch, black witch. I'm good at what I do. I'm
using magic for the good cause. All right, here's the
deal. For the good cause, a non-manipulative magic.
Love it.
I'm a regular guest on Ghost Adventures, just shot a new one of that. And that's what I do. I work with people. I've tried to do a million other things, and I do. I still run a production company for 20 plus years called Brain Brew Entertainment. But this world has taken over because it's where I'm led. I love it.
I feel like, yeah, from what I understand, there is a big growth in people understanding witchcraft and magic and the paranormal, and it's cool that it's hopefully getting more popularity. I just like to think that, well, magic is one of the oldest things. It's older than science. It's older than technology. Yeah. So what is magic? Mm-hmm.
And whenever times get rough in the world, people go to religion or spirituality. A lot of traditional religions just aren't keeping up with the world, with science, with belief systems. So people are getting a little alternative out there. So a lot of alternative belief systems, pagan, that again been around forever. I was just kind of the paranormal for a lot of people that I don't want religion of any sort. Let's deal with ghosts and stuff. So that gives you hope. There's something on the other side of the veil. Mm-hmm. So whether you're watching Ghost Adventures or the Haejl Files or Destination, all this stuff, it's like, there's world beyond ours. I don't want to get into this religious thing about it. So they're both rising because again, the veil is thinning. More and more stuff is going to happen, more and more unexplainable stuff, whether you want to go, it's miracles from God or it's ghost or spirit. We're moving into that. That they sang about in the 60s, and the veil is thinning. It is not our parents' world of black and white and right and wrong and solid ground. No solid ground. It's like this. So you gotta find something to navigate. And to me, a belief system, whatever it is your roadmap. It's something to navigate. And so people are tending to ones that actually navigate this world that isn't so solid.
I see. Okay. Well, it is a belief system. Can you tell us a bit more about what you believe in, or what like things give you comfort as a witch?
I believe. Again, I believe almost all of it is whatever, I guess, at a template. It doesn't. I study all religions. I study philosophy, science, metaphysics, occult sciences, and I take it down to energy. It's all energy. So whatever words you put on top of it are fine. My grandfather was this very famous atheist, also studied psychology, but I read his books and I read my books, and like the same thing, only we use to. What I believe magic is, whether it's to be a witch could be, it's a religious choice. I am Wiccan, or I am ceremonial, or I'm a chaos magician. I'm Thelemic, all those different things like Presbyterian versus Catholic. So that could be your belief system, but it's also a practice. The practice of witchcraft is what it means, whether you take it on a religion, it's willing to shift fate, willing to The natural path of things takes the easiest path. Nature takes, water runs downhill.
Yes.
Water, if you're just going, it's going to take you a pretty simple, the easiest path down. That's just what it does. But if you want to go, wow, the water running downhill, and I want to build my house on top of this mountain, I need water. I'm going to build a dam and put pipes and make the water go up. That's what witchcraft
magic.
is. That's what magic is. So again,
Wow.
whether you're, I like the elemental form of it, working with herbs and oils and nature. I'm a very elemental nature for a based witch, only because that way it allows you to keep religion. Everybody understands the strength of a tree with roots going deep into the earth and branches that touch the sky. The thought process of air, the flow, the emotions of water, a tear running down, the passion of fire, that passion. So if you're working with these elements, it doesn't matter if you're giving them deity names or not. That's what the craft is. It's almost like cooking or baking. I need some fire here. I need some this here. I need some that here to shift fate. Yeah. I mean, it's a big responsibility.
It's a responsibility. It's interesting. Sorry to, but
fate.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing with science. Science really tries to explain what you can see and observe, and a lot of the times, magical things you can't see and observe them. Love is something we know is real, but we can't see and observe it, from what I understand.
But science and spirituality are coming together completely.
You think so?
And it's all and it's all numbers. That's what's crazy. If you get into quantum sciences, it's all numbers. Whatever you think so? Again, you're going to use it again to shift fate, though. It is a big responsibility because there is cause and effect, action and reaction. Again, whether you're looking at it from a scientific, academic, atheistic point of view, or a spiritual, born again Pentecostal point of view, or a nice pagan dance around a bonfire point of view, changing shape. So you've got to have, honestly, to do magic and safely, you have to have a moral code. You have to know right from wrong. You have to have a sense of integrity or virtue. To know to not get in trouble.
Well, I mean, it's good to have that in general, if you're a magic person or not, right? But
if you don't have that, then
there are dark magicians, dark wizards, I'm right, witches that do magic for not great things. And
and it's a choice. But in my experience, what you put out, you get back. That's the karmic rule. Easy. The wicked read is what you put out 3 times in. And again, I don't use the word white witch. I'm a good witch. I work in the light, and I don't do anything manipulative to anybody. But I know people who
that's awesome.
I dark and go into the dark things, and they're not as happy because if you put a curse out on somebody, you now live in a world where you could be cursed. If you hex somebody, you put in you could be hexed. So because we create the world and we open the doors, we live in it, and by years into it, they're cranky, they're miserable, they have health issues. I don't have any of those. I'm never going to have any of them. And with good magic, you can get just as far. Like my little hobby of I want to beat 100,000 people to get on Math, people to get on America's Got Talent. I want to beat 100,000 people to get on Wipeout, all of which I've done. I have never done negative magic. Even when you're out there at the convention center with 100,000 people going, I'm not going, oh, I hope they don't get it. I hope they don't get it. I hope she breaks her foot on her. I'm going, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I wish you well. You're putting out all this positive energy. And then I get further than the other guy who's binding people, and people just, more is more.
But do you feel like sometimes that when learning all these things, sometimes like learning can be a burden, especially like you're learning all these different magic and spells, and like you're attracting what you learn. But I can imagine sometimes if you learn something dark, or if you start reading into some things that are more wicked, you might also start attracting that energy. And it's part of what you do, right? You're trying to learn about all the different kinds of witchcraft.
No,
you don't.
I think learning, knowing, education, knowledge can never hurt you. Playing with what you learn,
I see,
can hurt you. Dark art and demonology. If I'm going on ghost adventures and they're sending me into the most haunted house in the world, or the Black Dahlia house, I need to know what you're up against. Knowledge is power. So I don't think there's anything wrong. See, I don't like the Christian thought process of, when I began searching religions when I was a kid, it's like, okay, this is yours. What about Buddhism? I'm going to go talk to a Buddhist. And there's some belief systems say, oh, no, it's a sin to talk to Buddhists. Talk to us about Buddhists.
Wow.
I don't want to talk to Christians about Buddhists. I've done. So, no, I think knowledge, unless, doing this stuff is power, because you need to know what you're dealing with.
Okay. So I want to learn more is really what we were trying to do this. Let's go in depth. What is a seance?
A seance is where you talk to the other side. A seance is where you lift the veil and talk to deceased loved ones. I've been doing them again since I was 7 or 8. In this elemental style I literally lift that veil between worlds. My style is very spiritualist, Victorian, 100 years ago. And I work herbs and oils and things around the table the way they did in the spiritualist age, another weird time. And so you could talk to deceased loved ones. The things you're going to get at a seance are ghosts, people who are living, people, most of them are fine. They're crossed over. They hang out because they can. Grandma wants to watch the kids grow up, or they hang out at the play. It's not always like you're going to the insane asylum in the prison where the bad guys are holding them down. Yes, that exists too. But like most people are good. So that's what you're going to call in. The other thing you're not going to get a seance is like, say, a residual haunting. That's the kind where it's almost just like video. That's the kind you're going to get at the bed and breakfast where the lady in white who died on her wedding night walks by 1,000 times. That poor ghost doesn't have to walk by 1,000 times. That's really almost like video. Something so strong happened, it ripped the texture of the world. So it looks like she does. She won't interact. You won't get that at a seance. But the other thing you will get a seance is the everything else category. Which is the other realm, the angelic realm, the demonic realm, though I don't let that in. I set my boundaries and I have my wards. The elemental realm, fairies, magical things that were never human. So that's what you get a seance. You have to know what you're doing, again, how to open it up, that we could bring in all our loved ones and not bring in anything dark. So the door is open. You have to be specific of what you do. So that's what it is. I mean, it's great. I do a lot of them.
It's a ritual, right? It's like
it's
or is it, how would you describe it? Like what
is
a
ritual? Yeah, the ceremony is a ritual. It's a yeah, I mean, I do it ritualistically. I think it's more of a ceremony than a ritual. But yes, it is. It's both, I guess. I have a very pattern that I work.
And let's start. So I'm just trying to understand more. When you were 7, you said you had this first experience. What was your first experience, and how do you know what it was?
My first experience, I lived in Lakewood by Long Beach, a little suburban
in sunny California
neighborhood, dark or scary way. I just wanted to talk to him. So I took my best friend, little Sherry Jones. We went in my hallway, our little suburban home, where there's no window, no light, and the hall's the door. So it was pitch black. And then I realized I didn't know any dead people. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, okay, Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy. Every person late 60s that a little kid knows. And I came up with my first chant. I didn't have herbs and oils and stuff yet, but I just it's in the blood. And this little window filled with orbs and light flying around this little hallway. And Sherry and I ran out of the house screaming, but I was so happy. I'm like, yes, this is real. It's a real realm and we can control it. I firmly believe this is our realm of existence. The other side has to play by our rules. And I take that into the scary stuff I go to. And it holds true because people don't know that, though. They give away their power with fear or anger or addiction problem or a severe mental imbalance. We're in charge. People just don't know that. So they give their power away.
Wow. That's great. All right. So what I want to know is, so if you're helping sometimes, so a family would come say like, hey, I'd like to talk to this person who's dead and do your seance, communicate message, right? In your thoughts, do you think it's okay to talk to the dead like that? Is it like interfering with the dead? Is it sending?
You invite them in. with love and respect. I don't force anybody to come. I don't force humans, living or dead. But what they like about it is that dead people are usually fine. Death is hard on those left living. They're fine. They have the freedom. They don't have their ailments or age. They don't have time and space, which is kind of cool. But when you do a seance or even a mediumship, or if I'm doing a gallery for 600 people on a stage, or 13 people around the seance, or one-on-one mediumship, what the spirits love, it's almost like being alive for them, because they have almost time and space. It's a question, it's an answer, it's a question. How is she doing? Oh, she wants to know if you still have the box with her pictures in it. Oh yeah, are you wearing grandma's ring? Dead people love it because it's like, oh, I'm really communicating in real time versus this perfect heavenly thing.
Right.
So what the living, it's a win-win situation. Spirits love it as a rule. And the living people are getting information and solace and comfort and understanding what went on, and the dead people get to really communicate in real time with their loved ones. I've gotten stuff as specific as an iPhone code from a young man died,
wow.
deceased, leaving a young wife.
Okay.
A young wife and a kid. And they sat there with his iPhone and 1,000 pictures and videos of the family, and they couldn't open it up. So I used a Ouija board, and we got the code, and they were able to get the pictures. Ghosts want to help you.
Right.
That was funny. That was about the same time a couple of years ago when I remember there was a big news thing that FBI was trying to get Apple to give a code away, something, and Apple wouldn't do it. Privacy. I'm like, I just should have talked to a medium, or
wow,
they'd have got
it. They would have got it. That's funny. All right, so part of dying, right, is that the person who dies, but it's also the family grieves for the dead, and they grieve because they know that doors are closed, right? This person's left behind. When you come in and reopen this kind of channel to their lost dead ones, do you does that like take like an emotional effect on them? Do they feel it?
To see it?
Do they like feel emotional about it?
Yes, both sides, the living, of course, and the dead love it. And then once you've lifted the veil, everybody's a little more psychic for a while, and you can hold on to that. In my book, I have all sorts of techniques, like dream school, putting a glass of water by the side of your bed at night, charging it, that you can communicate in dream or downloads when your chatty left brain isn't in the way. I'm a big believer of it's done everywhere in the world but here. When somebody dies, they're not dead. They're the only thing that's dead is this fleshly body, their spirit and soul. Even science has proved nothing dies. But what a dumb supper is 40 days after somebody passes, or any time after, it could be 40 years, do a dinner for them. Casual, dressy, doesn't matter. Sometimes people set a place for them, or a glass, or just you talk, and you do it backwards. You have to do it backwards. You start with dessert, and then you have or your super salad or cheese sticks, appetizers. The dead will know it's for them because they're mirror image, they're reverse image, and they'll go, "Oh, this is my dinner." And you could talk about them. Again, you could be sad. Oh, I miss grandma. I miss my whatever that is. But also talk about good times, because it's like they're at the table with you, because they are. And then somewhere in the dinner, go silent for just a few minutes. Go silent. And the deceased person or people will communicate with each person at the table to their own comfort level and ability. The dumb supper is at the end of the dinner, which is the beginning of the dinner, because you're up to super salad course or whatever. You have to say goodbye to their fleshly body, because that is the one part you can't have back. That's unless you're into zombies. The meat suit's dead, but the spirit and soul. So then you have to cut those cords. We have literal cords. We talk about cut the cords, no strings attached. Living to living, we have cords. It's somebody passes, that has to be cut, because now the cord is third eye. So at the end of the dinner, you let them go. It helps them, it helps you. And you're not my dead grandpa, you're my spirit grandpa. You're not my dead husband or wife, you're my spirit husband or wife. Not even my dead. And it helps them to be free. It helps you to stop your grieving, and it improves your relationship. If you do want to communicate with the dead, now you're going to be way better able to.
Okay, sounds good. I'm just trying to clarify here. Are the spirits ghosts? Like, so does everyone who died become like a spirit, or does everyone who died become a ghost? Is that what you believe? All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that term that you use, they become an energy force that we've used the term of ghost or spirit. They become an energy form. Yeah. They're part of the great consciousness. I mean, we can get into whole philosophical backing. Without time and space, they can do all of the above. I think I kind of the old ancient Sumerian belief system of kind of you go to the heaven that you create yourself, that you believe in, which means Christians are going to go find the pearly gate. Somebody else is going to find this. It's your belief system. And if there's not time and space, you could go hang around and visit the grandkids, through the window, and you could get reincarnated, and you could be up in the other world.
I mean, it becomes infinite, right? At that point, it just like it just changes. All right. So why isn't this like a more mainstream outlook on life then? Why is this witchcraft?
I think because the people who took over, I mean, it's part of a lot of belief systems. If you really study religion and belief systems, Christianity took out reincarnation in the 50s.
Really?
Or 1600s. Religion so often it's about control over the spirituality of it.
Wow.
The biblical stuff has gotten changed. Everything's got changed. If you go down to the through line, the energetic of everybody's got the Son of God story hung on a tree. It's not just Jesus, it's Odin, it's every belief system has that half human, half man coming down. They put different words, they put different titles, they put different things. So if you look at the truth of it, we are part human, we are part divine. This is what it is. So I do think it's getting more widespread. It has taken over religion so hard because that's about control. And a more new view is like it's not true because somebody tells you so, or it's in a book or a holy book. Find your truth inside. That's what a more new age or pagan perspective, or there's a billion different paths, all beautiful, that it's like, that's not true because somebody told me to. I need to figure it out for myself. I will believe what Patti Negri said in her book, her thought on it, but I would not say that's the truth. This is my
link in bio.
My truth. Your truth might be a million ways from my house to your house. Who's to say one's better? You could walk, you could take a car, you could take a bike, you could fly, you could, it's like, who's to say this is the only way?
I mean, I want to press you on something you said about Christianity taking out reincarnation. I'm just curious about this. Can you tell me what happened? Do you know?
Gosh, I don't remember. It's been a long time since I studied that.
I'm just curious. Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, I think it was the 15th or 16th century. Again, the Bible's been rewritten a billion times. None of it is firsthand or secondhand. And I think where Christianity went wrong is, in a sense, is going, this is fact.
Yeah.
It's not about if it's fact or not. It's about the meaning behind the story. Other belief systems, Jewish belief systems get it. A lot of other ones do. I don't remember the story exactly of when they took out reincarnation, but they took it out because they wanted this life to be controlled. If this life is controlled because you're saving it for the gates, you better be good by now, and you better do what we tell you.
Right, exactly.
We tell you, or
that's why I really want to know about this, because if in the original teachings, it was like part of the tradition and they took it out for that reason. I can imagine they're just like, yeah, sorry, there's heaven and hell, and if you listen to us, you go to heaven, and if you don't, you go to hell. That is a way to manipulate people. So that's why it'd be be interesting to know more about that. Can you tell me what is a psychic? What is a psychic? What do you mean by psychic, Patti?
Okay, a bit of a psychic, somebody who can see future, possible futures. I don't see,
Okay.
we're given free will. I don't, any psychic, I
Right.
think is not, who says this is going to happen. But a psychic can see probability, pathways. Ah, you're on this path. How I work it, you could see blocks. Ah, this is why you always pick the wrong partner. You have a block here. This happened to you when you were 7. You looks like you're going to be married 3 times. If you don't want to be married 3 times, why don't you change this pattern of not
I see.
being attracted to people who,
Right.
I mean, that to me, a psychic is looking into love, career, hope, health, reasons for health problems. So that's what a psychic is. Again, a good one has to be really ethical, not try to upsell you, don't tell you have a demon attached, you don't.
Okay.
And empower you with real answers, not say, and again, nothing is set in stone. Like I could say, okay, hey, when you go out of the house, a bird is going to poop on your head. I am such a good psychic. I know when you're going to walk out of the house. I know when a bird's going to fly over. I know when a bird's going to poop on your head. Says,
I'd be impressed if you told me
I
that.
would rather say, hey, be careful walking out the door. Yeah, I would rather say, hey, be careful walking out the door. Birds might poop on your head today. So you don't walk out the door. You go out the back door. You use a parasol. The bird doesn't poop on your head. That's what a good psychic does.
I see.
So that's what a psychic is. A medium is somebody who talks to the other side. Two different things. Usually, often the gifts go together.
So something I'm really getting from this conversation is that there are like magical powers and things beyond our control, and if you don't have a good moral compass about it, you can just be going in the wrong directions, and these things might be.
Well, you have to have a good moral compass to change, to shift, to change things, to work with people. To be a psychic, to claim that I'm going to read your tarot cards or this or whatever you do, it's a big responsibility, because people who are in their vulnerable place are putting themselves in your hands. So you've got to do it to want to help them. And be it's a big responsibility to do witchcraft, to do magic, not just following the Sabbats and doing you're causing a shift, which reaction, you have to pay the coin for that.
Okay. So when you say you're looking into the future, what are you doing? What thoughts are going on in your head? How do you know, like, if you can share that?
Well, what I've learned to do my whole life. I'm very the 2 sides of the brain, left brain, right brain. Your left, your logical brain, reasoning, 1 + 1 = 2 brain has nothing to do with your psychic abilities. Really have to shut that brain. Your spiritual brain, your intuitive, your creative, your artist brain is where you have to do it. So to learn to do that, it's you can't have an intuitive thought, a psychic thought, and then rationalize it. You just shut it down. You have to learn to dance between or quiet this side so you can just trust it. And it's trusting whether you're tapping in, if you're using your guides, or you think it's guides who's talking to you, great. You think you're jogging into the great consciousness is great. Your inner knowledge, whatever, again, to me, the words that you use, tapping into this energy outside yourself or inside yourself, but a more divine energy with an all-knowing thing. And again, still I always say possible future, even probable future, but not the set future, because we have free will.
You have free will. All right. And you believe we have like free will to make our own choices. You believe that, right? All right.
I completely believe
that.
We can't. There is a fate. There is a destiny. There's certain things you can't help being put for. That there's death, there's fate within that. We can sometimes change fate. That's what witches do. That's what all sorts of people. We can change fate. You can't always change fate. You can't. But what you can change is how you react to things. And that's the 90%. That's where the magic comes in too. You can't be born some like the guy. Okay, this is a great example. This isn't a witchcraft thing, but it's fate versus destiny versus free will, what you create. There's this guy on YouTube. He's this beautiful. He's a motivational speaker. He is a body and a head. No arms, no legs whatsoever. No arms, no legs. This kid may be born a torso and a head. Could have been. I mean, wouldn't have survived because you can't do anything. You can't eat. You can't drink. You can't. Could have been the world's biggest victim. My God, he's going to live there and somebody has to take care of him forever and a miserable life. This guy is this amazing motivational speaker. He inspires people. He has a career. He comes out on a skateboard with his torso, comes out, and he has a head and a body, and he inspires people. So he couldn't help being born without arms and legs. I mean, maybe he could have. If you go back into karmic, and I do believe we pick things down the line. But if we just look at this plane, this life, in this life, he, whether he picked it before he got here, but what he did with it, that's the everything.
Right, and we all have. I really love that. Just because, like, we can all be put in not great situations, but it really is your attitude and your mindset, and you really do manifest things.
What you do with it.
Yeah, and how you manifest, and you're out of. And once you start looking like to the stars will just come to you, and you'll, it just increases, right? And I guess that's how you can get really into anything and get good at anything, is just by really involving yourself in it.
Well, yeah, and I'm a big believer of that mind, body, spirit concept. Well, you have all three, you get it. I mean, 20,000 books are written about mind, body, spirit, psychology books, spiritual books, occult books, self-help books. We understand mind. You have to believe it, or it's never going to happen. We are never, ever going to surpass our own belief system. It's going to be really hard. I can't do it. Now that's true. It's going to be easy. Money is easy. Yeah, you just made that true. We'll never surpass this. Mind, again, psychology. Body, we have to take action. We get that. I want to be healthier. Eat better, work out. We understand that. Mind, body. But the spirit part, that's a part people don't quite get, because it's less tangible. Because if you have one out of the three of them, that's wishful thinking. I wish I was whatever. Nothing. 1 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is hit or miss. 3 out of 3 is a home run. So, but the spirit part, that's the less tangible. Actually, there's lots of ways you can do it, because it's the battery behind it. It's the energy. You can do it through your religion. You can go to church, temple, mosque, whatever. Pray. There's the spirit. Faith. I want to have this happen. There's you do a spell working like I would do. Candles and herbs and oils. There's that battery that makes it happen. You could do it very more new age. Vision board, and it happens. But if you have the headset, your body's taking action. You have that faith, spirit, magic behind it. You get it. You could go through everything in your life, the stuff that have come to you, the stuff that you've made happen, easy or hard, your accomplishments in life. You've had all three. You've believed it, you've taken action, and you had some spirit behind it. The stuff that you haven't quite got a hold of, or you just think, I can never do this, look at it. You're missing 1 or 2 of the 3. You either don't really believe it.
Yes.
You're not really taking a faith or spirit or magic behind it. That's simple.
There you go.
I mean, that's what my whole book is about, really. It's like, this is easy, you guys. This is easy. It's not hard. It's not complicated.
People
get your power back. People, we give away our power all the time. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to limiting belief systems. We give away our power to fear.
Wow.
Grab it back.
Well, part of it is you have to give up a little bit of power. You have to be a little bit vulnerable, and in order to believe in anything, right? In order to believe that, for example, this podcast is going to be the great podcast, you have to be a little bit vulnerable about it, and and just, I don't know.
It's like, you have to be vulnerable. Yeah. Not anything I have said has anything to do with vulnerability.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Power and vulnerability are 2 different.
Well, you have to give up a little bit of power, right? In order to believe in something, just because you don't know it for sure. You don't know that. I don't know that this podcast is going to be the best podcast, but I believe it. All right. For example. And so I don't know. I feel like I lose a little bit of power. It makes me a little bit.
See, to me, vulnerability. I think I don't put the 2 together. I do think you have to have a vulnerability, and I do think you have to have faith and belief. So, and they again, it's the dance, like the left brain, right down, dancing between the 2. But I do believe in vulnerability completely. How do you find love if your heart's not
right? Well, people are scared of that. Well, that's a power thing, right? Because if you find love with someone, you have to give up a little bit of power to trust someone that take care of you.
But that's not the way.
No.
I'm using, but I don't say power. I say mind, body, spirit. You have to believe. I think that's what it is, because I belief and power are 2 different things to me. Mind and belief are different than power.
Right. All right. Yeah. All right. So we're almost running out of time here, but I want to ask you. I just want to learn since we have you. How can I manifest this podcast to be a great podcast, or how can I manifest good things in my life?
Okay, you have to believe it, which you do. Mind, body, you have to take action. You advertise about it. You put it on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You post, you get creative with posting. Body and the spirit is the magic behind it. Again, do a candle burning, pray, do affirmations, do a vision board, world's best podcast. Do something that will use the energy behind it. You have all three and you get it.
Wow. All right.
That easy.
Patti, thank you so much. Honestly, you really motivated me, and I really feel touched and inspired and learned something really new. So this is great. If you guys learned also something new, make sure to share this podcast and check it out. Subscribe.
Share the podcast. Tell your friends.
Get her book. Yes, get her book. Check out your book. Yes.
Follow me on social media. Go to my website, pattinegri.com.
Link
Go to his website. Do it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And you know that 75% of people listening aren't subscribed, so it's easy. Hit the subscribe button, and that's magic. Watch it. You'll manifest something great in your future. Sounds good. This is how we sign out. All right. Peace, Patti. This is a sleeper agent.
I told you what a sleeper agent is. I literally
understand. But what's the science behind it?
I told you the science. The science is basically they go under deep hypnosis. None of the shit they teach you in psychology school or anything. No. We're talking next level.
Okay.
Right? And they grew you with hypnosis for days and days until they like implement this memory in you where I thought I grew up in like the suburbs of Mississippi and I'm in LA wanting to pursue my dream job of helping my country, the United States, by joining the FBI. No, you're a sleeper agent trying to infiltrate the FBI. But why FBI? If you ask them why